Hello, hopefully we are live. It's a bit impromptu. Decided to do this rather late. Now the idea was that I was going to do a video and basically edit it later and jump through all the hoops and all the rigmarole that goes through editing a video, but I'm going out later. I'm going out. We're going to have a roast dinner. We're booked in. Nice table. Nice bite to eat. And the truth of the matter is I don't have time to edit in all the goals, upload it, do all that stuff. So I'm sort of cheating. I'm going live. But you have to bear with me, please. Because what I can see in front of me now is basically like the control centre of a spaceship. So I've got quite a lot to do. I've got quite a lot to get through. We've got some videos going up, and I've got to introduce them and basically feed them into the live feed, which is a lot more technical than my own poor capabilities allow. So please do bear with me. We've got the live chat open as well because it's been a little while since we've done one of these interaction things. I try and interact with you as much as I can, and this is the forum channel, so it's all about your opinions. And I don't get to, when we do a cup of tea, for those of you that watch a cup of tea, it's Gio's always asking me the questions and he sees the live chat. I choose to switch the live chat off during cup of tea because I find it quite distracting, particularly having to interact with other people as well on the show. So I read the comments afterwards. I always read all the comments on everything, and I see some people during the cup of tea show, they ask me questions and I don't even find out until afterwards, so I can't answer them. So apologies for that. So this is the time to jump on and interact with me, of course, on the forum, hammerschat.com, above me there, and I'm on Twitter at Gonzo Big Nose. I'm going to go through a lot of stuff today because yesterday was that, well, what I thought was a pretty damn decent performance against Newcastle. I've just finished off watching it on Match of the Day. I thought I'll go and watch Match of the Day before I jump on and have a chat with all you lot. And they chucked us, that was right at the end. I kept on fast forwarding it on my Sky. I saved it on my Sky planner, and we were right at the end. I thought it was quite an entertaining game. I thought there was a number of games we should have been on in front of, and also thought, well, number one, I thought their coverage of the Billy Bonds thing was quite poor. Not as poor as Sky's. It was my daughter's birthday yesterday, so we went out for a meal, went out, took the kids to a farm and stuff. I got back by R5, watched the game, but in the build-up, it was on Sky. And just as Billy Bonds was about to start talking, they switched to a commercial break, so they handled it poorly. Match of the Day, I thought not only did they not really pick up on the Billy Bonds thing, which I guess they're not West Ham fans, why would they? But also, there was loads of skills, weren't there? Which, funny enough, I've got some of these skills, some of Lanzini's skills, the Rabona and all that sort of stuff. They didn't pick up on in Match of the Day. So I've got it here, and I'm going to go through it. Now, some of these highlights are, well, they're all from people at the game, and thank you very much for sending them in. The bulk of them are from West Ham highlights. I'll say it every video I do. Just go and search West Ham highlights on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel. Every game he uploads what he's taken on his phone, so it's a little bit of a cheating way to see the highlights before anybody else does. Go and give him a follow, go and subscribe to him, and he's very kindly has given us his footage to use. Plus my mate Jay, who went yesterday, I got some of his footage. We've got the Iron Hammer, he's sent in some footage of Rice's goal as well, and we're going to get through it all in however long it takes, really, to be honest with you. My table is booked for 5 o'clock, something like that. So anyway, we got a good half, before I get going, we got a good half hour, 45 minutes to get through all of this stuff. Now, I mentioned Declan Rice, and I want to go and deal with this one, first of all, before anything else. Now, a few of you might not be aware, some of you will. The build-up to this game was almost billed as a bit of a duel between Declan Rice and, I think it's Sean Longstaff. I think it's Sean Longstaff, the Newcastle player, young Newcastle player, very, very promising. Now, unfortunately, Longstaff has come out of this very, very badly for the pure and simple reason he's not as good as Declan Rice. And Declan had a very good game yesterday. But I felt the comparison was unfair. But the Geordie fans brought it upon themselves, because there was one fan cam in particular. I'm going to play you now. Now, I'll make no bones about it. The geezer's nauseating. He's terrible. You know, he's an absolute idiot. An absolute idiot. Watch at the end, by the way, the end of the clip. Watch the geezer who stood behind him start to run off, because the geezer behind him thinking this geezer's a loony. But I'm going to play it. I'll play it now, and then we'll get on to the point afterwards. Technology permitting, of course.
Mate, run along, run along! We don't want any Declan Rice! Declan Rice! Sean Longstaff, no problem at all. He knows it, he knows it, he knows it, he knows it. He knows it, baby! Declan Rice! Knee woo for you, son. Sean Longstaff.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. That's it, really. And it was another one. There was him, and there was another guy who was doing another thing. He was basically saying that Declan Rice's reputation was built off of one goal. And you have to say they put the pressure on themselves, because Longstaff has come in for a lot of stick because he had to get hooked off yesterday because he could not compete with the midfield of basically Declan Rice and Mark Noble. They were completely done yesterday, and I just thought they brought it on themselves. So well done, Declan. And I thought it was very, very apt yesterday. Bearing in mind it was Billy Bond's day and the stand was being opened, that two players that have come through our academy and who are West Ham would be the guys scoring the goals on the day that our highest record attendee was honoured. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. But anyway, on to the game. And it was a fantastic game. There were some marvellous pieces of skill, I thought. And if you looked at those highlights on Match of the Day, you look towards the end, it would look like Newcastle had as much of the game as us. Actually, if you looked at the stats, Newcastle had, I think, possibly more attempts than we did. Rafa Benitez was on there accusing us of just counter-attacking, basically. But we were better than them. No one was robbed yesterday. Not only were we better than them, we were 2 goals better than them. I'm going to flick through a bit of footage in a second. Before I do, I just want to get on to player ratings. Just quickly. I'm popping on Claret and Hugh here. You won't be able to see it, so I'm not going to pop it up on the screen. I'm just going to read it for you. This is Niall McDonald. He hands out the marks. I'm just going to use his list here just because he's written it down. Nobody else has. We start off with Fabianski in goal. Now, Niall said faultless again and giving him a 7. In fact, I'm not going to read out Niall's scores because I'm just going to tell you what I think. Go on to Claret and Hugh, read it for yourself. Fabianski was faultless. He had very little to do, and what he did have to do, he did it very, very well. Fredericks is the next one, and I thought Fredericks, I think he's made it very, very difficult for Zabaleta, as Gio alluded to when we did the review yesterday. He's very fast. He's absolutely lightning, and when you've got that much pace, it allows you to play somebody like Snodgrass in front, because Snodgrass is not pacey. But if you had perhaps Zabaleta and Snodgrass, then the winger and the fullback can sort of rest easy a little bit when you're playing your opposition teams. When you've got someone that quick backing up the winger, somebody that can overlap, then that type of player can transition defence into attack very, very quickly, and it poses a lot of problems for the opposition. And this is something that we haven't done for a long, long time. This is something I've been crying out for West Ham to do for a long time, and that is to cause problems to the opposition. We tend not to. Under David Moyes, we were predictable. You could have named the team sheet. You really could. And you could, not only could you name the team sheet, you could name what he was trying to do. Yesterday was a classic example of our formation and our players forcing the opposition to make changes. Number 1, to make substitutions at half-time, and number 2, to make changes to their shape. The same happened against Fulham as well, by the way. Substitutions were made at half-time. And that's what happens when you pose the opposition problems. You make them have to react to you. And whilst they're reacting to you, they're on the back foot. And that's what we forced. Back foot changes in the last couple of games. That's what happens when you get some good players and you get more than one attribute in your team. It's not enough just to work hard and to close down. That's not enough. Actually, when you put in skill and pace, then you're offering up something that the opposition has really, really got to think about. It just reminds me when talking about Fredericks there, somewhere here, you just have to bear with me. I'm going to try and find it. Fredericks put over a really, really good cross. A very good cross. I wonder if it is this clip here. Just bear with me a minute. Hopefully this is it here. If not, I'll click on the next one. And Chicharito comes over Hernandez. He just missed it. That's a really good cross. That is a very, very good cross. I actually thought just before that, if you watch him, he's running, he's steaming with his head down. I thought he perhaps he could have looked up and played it in a little bit earlier, but he had the blinkers on. He was going for it, and actually resulted in a really, really good cross. For Hernandez, Hernandez was good yesterday. Not only did Hernandez win the penalty, I mean, he produced that. There was another bit as well. I'll show you now. I'll play each clip twice because I know it's not great when I'm doing these sort of live streams. It's quite hard for I think it demands quite a lot of the broadband and all the rest of it. So I'll play it twice just in case it gets pixelated. But those were two occasions when Hernandez maybe would finish those. Going to be hard for Arnie to get back into that team. We'll discuss that in just a second, of course. The second ball was from Masuaku. Of course, the other fullback's got Fredericks there, Masuaku. Masuaku had a lot of attacking to do yesterday, not a lot of defending. And actually, he looked really good. I was wondering if we'd see him again, particularly bearing in mind Ben Johnson had come in and done ever so well. He played really well, Masuaku. But back on Chicharito there. He obviously won the penalty as well, which I've got. Let's have a look. Where's that? Is this the penalty? This might be the penalty. Yeah, I mean, his first touch was really good. A beautiful, lovely ball over as well into him. Was it? I think it was Snodgrass. I think it was. Really, really good from Chicharito. And we're starting to play to his strengths now. We've got somebody that pops up in the chat. Not in the chat, in the comments under a video. He's a Mexican lad. I can't remember his name. Please excuse me. But he said last week, he said, you're not using Chicharito right. He said, I think his words were, I don't think you know what a good player you've got there in Javier Hernandez. I think I do, and I think we do. I think we know he has the capability to be a world-class striker. And he was unlucky. Bilic played him on the wing when he first came in. Moyes just didn't fancy him. Didn't fancy him at Man United. Certainly didn't fancy him at West Ham either. And it's been difficult for him, even under Pellegrini. But he's a smooth and he's a slick operator. And I think when you've got these opportunities that are coming to him, not just as a result of the cross we've seen from Fredericks, from Masuaku there, of course from Snodgrass as well, which were all sort of longer deliveries. Actually, he seemed to be getting involved when Lanzini and when Anderson were playing the triangles. He was dropping deep. He was sort of getting involved in that. This, with the additional technical player, we're starting to see more out of Hernandez, I think. It's been very, very hard for Pellegrini to drop him. And I was sort of making this point on the review last night. And I said it makes it difficult for Arnautovic. And the reason it makes it difficult for Arnautovic is because there's only 9 games left. And Arnautovic really needs to prove his worth to whoever. To himself, because he wants the goal bonuses and the starting bonuses. To the club. To us fans, because really he's let us down with all those shenanigans, or maybe just to other clubs in particular, the one in China, to convince them to come back and to pay our asking price. Now, there's been an unofficial release clause inserted into the new contract that he signed, and that's if anyone comes in with 45 million, then he can go. And he wants to go. Let's not pretend anymore that Arnautovic loves us or wants to be at West Ham, okay? That much is clear. So really, it's a sort of relationship of convenience, let's say. And unfortunately, it's going to be quite inconvenient for him to be out of the team, because there's no way he's going to prove himself a £45 million player if he's not in the team. And we don't actually owe him that, to put him in a team. If Hernandez is going to perform better than him, then why wouldn't we have Javier Hernandez in the team? So anyway, it's difficult for him. It's difficult, and as Gio said, it's going to be a bit difficult for Zabaleta now. I'm just going to go over and click on the live chat. Everything seems to be going well there. I'll go back over to it in a minute. I just want to get these videos out of the way, because then I'm going to sort of relax a little bit, because it's quite technical. As I said, uploaded them. Really nice to see so many of you in the chat now, and particularly so many regulars in there. Let me just have a little sip of my tea. Hold on. Thirsty work, all this talking. Right, where am I? Where's my control panel? Good, the stream's going well. Lots of people viewing. That's lovely. Okay, thank you and welcome everybody. Right. So what have we done? We've done the Chicharito, we've looked at Fredericks, we've had a little chat about Masuaku. Of course, I thought Cresswell was doing well before he had to go off, and obviously he had to clash heads, didn't he? Which was purely accidental, of course. But I thought Masuaku did really well coming on for Cresswell. Cresswell had a toe injury. I think he had a broken toe. So obviously, yeah, I mean, it must have been painful. I'm surprised he played. Can you play with a broken toe? Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm surprised he played. I mean, good on him. Good on him for playing. It surprised me that you could play with a broken toe. I don't think I've ever had a broken toe, but I imagine it'd be very, very... I've had a broken finger, and that's bloody painful. So, yeah, anyway, that's that. What have we got here? We've got some other clips. Let's go with Diop, because I've got a couple of clips here from Diop. Absolute monster of a player. Let's look at the clips, then we'll discuss him. Let me pop these clips up. There you go. The geezer standing up, clapping at the end, and clap he might. Wonderful player. The recovering tackles that he does. I think I've got another one here actually. Hold on a second. There you go. This player is not mucking about. He is commanding. He's got leadership qualities. He's fast. He's not afraid to come out and pass the ball. There was a lovely part yesterday where Ogbonna, who played tremendously well again yesterday. Ogbonna was wonderful. They're making a real partnership, and I think we're all grateful for that, particularly bearing in mind we were worried Ogbonna's first couple of games back in because Ogbonna had been so good. So it's nice to see them forming such a solid partnership. There was a point where Ogbonna drifted out to the left-hand side to help out the fullback, and it was really good because Diop moved over one and Rice dropped it back into centre back. Silly little thing, nothing happened. The cross never came over, the attack never happened, but it does go to show you that there is really something to be said for somebody that has central defensive qualities and a central defensive mindset in Declan Rice, who will immediately drop back in to help out. And whilst we just go back to the start, the comparison with Longstaff, it's a bit of a silly one, because looking at Longstaff looks to me to be a long-range passer. He looks like a Carrick. He looks like a Jamie Redknapp. He looks like that long-range sort of passer. Ian Bishop was like that. Ian Bishop was a wonderful passer of the ball. That's not what Declan Rice is. Declan Rice is, if we were playing ice hockey, he'd be called a stopper. He is a stopper. That's his job. He scores some goals now as well, of course. And he has got the mindset that when you're under the cosh, to win the ball back like a centre-back. He wins the ball like a centre-back, even in centre midfield, and then he drops back into it. That's not Longstaff. So that's really what I was saying at the start. The comparisons between the players are unfair on the boy Longstaff, who's played a handful of games. I don't know how many games Declan Rice has played now, but has Declan Rice played 50 games maybe? Maybe someone will let me know. There's no comparison. He's also played international football, of course, for Ireland as Declan. So, yeah, I thought it was a little bit harsh on the young lad at Newcastle, particularly bearing in mind he was hauled off. And we've seen that ourselves with young players, with Declan himself. You know, Declan had a really bad game, didn't he, in the first game against Liverpool, and he didn't feature in the next game. You remember when Reece Oxford first started? He had a really good game when he started off against Arsenal. Then I think he automatically started the next game. Possibly it was against West Brom, and he was crap. So he was immediately hauled out again, and it's just difficult. It's really, really difficult for these players. So that's why I'm shame on the Newcastle fans for heaping that extra pressure on their own player, who I'm sure will be a really decent acquisition. What have I got here? Talking about Rice, we want to see the Rice header, don't we? Let's see Rice's goal. I just want to thank everybody for these videos, because this allows us to make much better videos for you guys, basically. You know, to be able to sit here and to be able to look back at the instance in the match. Obviously, we can't get anywhere near Sky's footage or anything like that. We just can't. We can't put it up. The YouTube channel gets taken down, basically, if we do such a thing. So to have this fan footage, particularly for those of you that don't get to go to games. I was speaking to somebody on the forum the other day. I can't remember exactly where he was from, but in an Antipodean places. They were only getting one game. Their broadcasters only getting them one game, so it's pot luck if they get any West Ham stuff. So I know for a lot of you guys out there, this might well be your only contact with what's happened at the club yesterday. Obviously, you go on, you can read your stuff on social media and whatnot, but I think it's nice to have clips, and also nice for you to see a little bit of the crowd and see everyone celebrating and basically being happy. So, I can't thank anybody that sends in clips enough. It's great. It's just great for everybody. In terms of that goal, it's great for Declan Rice. Absolutely fantastic. And of course, look at Snodgrass. Another really good delivery there. You've got to say he's a dead ball specialist. He's a dead ball specialist who works really, really hard. He's not fast, as I mentioned earlier. Maybe he's not got a ton of tricks to beat a man, but that's a bloody good attribute to have, to be able to deliver a ball. How many corners you get in a game? You're always getting corners. You're always getting free kicks. So it's a hell of an attribute to have. You can have the best dribblers in the world, but if you keep winning corners and everyone keeps hitting the first man, then it's no bloody good, is it? So well done to Snodgrass. He's played over 30 games this season. Let's be fair, but he was sent out on loan to Aston Villa. We never thought we'd see him back again. He was somebody. We talk about Longstaff, we talk about Rice with bad comparisons. That was somebody else who was unfortunately compared with a bloody good player, because he was bought with part of the Payet money, or so we saw it at the time. Nobody's going to be better than Payet. Well, certainly not somebody at West Ham, you know. Let's be perfectly honest about it. You know, David Silva might be better than Payet, or De Bruyne might be better than Payet, or, you know, some Eden Hazard might be better than Payet. But Robert Snodgrass certainly not going to come into West Ham and be better than Dimitri Payet. So it was unfortunate, really, I think, for him at the time. Plus, you had the thing with the owners, where one of the boys, one of the Sullivan boys, didn't fancy him and said to David Sullivan Senior, you know, you shouldn't get him, Dad, or whatever. And then Sullivan Senior went public with it by saying that he didn't, you know, basically said, my boy said he was crap, which I think was poorly timed and should never have been said, even if he thought it, you know. So well done to Robert Snodgrass for coming back in the way that he had. I've got, what have I got left? I've got a couple of Lanzini clips, and let's have a look what they are. One of them's the Rabona. Have I said that right? Sounds a bit rude. Or is it Rabona? Rabona or Rabona? What do you say? Anyway. That was the Rabona, Ribena, whatever we want to call it. Lovely bit of skill. The nice thing is, I mean, you imagine, I'll tell you what, you get hauled off for doing that under Moyes or Allardyce. You weren't allowed to do that sort of thing. It's lovely to have a manager in Pellegrini who's going to encourage that sort of thing. So if that was that clip, I guess the next clip I've got coming up is the one where he shaped it. He sort of shielded the ball, didn't he, and Arnautovic, and he laid it off, and Lanzini tried to bend it in. Having said that, if you watch the clip, watch out, because Robert Snodgrass is completely free and screaming, and probably, you know, wanted the pass and deserved the pass. But we can understand why Lanzini wanted to play this ball after all that time out. I mean, towards the end of the game as well, and I was surprised that he played such a long game. I said in the preview, in the review, that it was 93 minutes. Would have been more, of course. It was 5 minutes time added on in the first half. So he was out on that pitch for a long time. And I think a slightly fresher Lanzini Maybe he'll curl that into the top corner. But I don't think we're going to have to wait until next season for that fella to score. That's for sure. And it's great to have it back. And it looks like Pellegrini's going to build the team around him. That's clear. I mean, there's no pushing him out into the margins, no pushing him out wide. We've seen it a few times under a few managers where Lanzini's been pushed out wide. I don't think that's happening there. I think the team is very clearly, you can see that team is being built around Lanzini. I heard rumours at the start of the season that Pellegrini wanted to build the team around Lanzini, but it's very hard to get rumours out of the club at the moment, largely because Pellegrini keeps his thoughts to himself. So there used to be so many more leaks around the club, so lots and lots of news would come out. It's why there's hardly any signings predicted ages ago. I mean, I remember the big one with ex-employee predicted the Payet one a long time before it happened. I think with this guy, particularly Helios, they're keeping their cards very, very close to their chest. You weren't hearing about Issa Diop 2 weeks before it happened. You hear about it when they're flying over and that sort of thing. So I think a lot of the information is being kept a closely guarded secret, and I like it, and that's right. I don't mind. I'm quite happy to sit here and respond to what happens rather than try and second guess it or preempt it. But the rumour was that Pellegrini wanted to build his team around Lanzini, and actually the whole Wilshere thing and everything came about because of Lanzini's injury, because Lanzini's injury in the World Cup, and because I think before Pellegrini came in, I do believe Sullivan was negotiating with Wilshere and only wanted to offer him a 1-year deal. Wilshere said, "No, I'm not signing for anyone for 1 year. I want more than that." I think a 1-year deal was an offer at Arsenal. To be fair, Wilshere only wanted a 3-year deal, and I think what happened was Lanzini got injured, and Pellegrini really wanted those funds to go elsewhere. Well, we can see where they went. We went Anderson and Yarmolenko and Diop, of course, and Balbuena and Fabianski. And I think he just thought, actually, I need to try and fill this creative player for free, because he didn't want to dip into his funds and not get Anderson or anything. So I think he probably said to Sullivan, "Look, just do this Wilshere deal." So there you go. I think that's where it is there. But certainly Lanzini is a major part of Pellegrini's plans if he keeps fit. We've got a real team on our hands, and a team that are going to cause anyone else problems. 2 final videos here. They're 2 different angles of Mark Noble. I'll let it play on because if you remember, he was forced to retake it, which made it all the more impressive that he stuck it right into the top corner. We'll watch these 2 videos, then we'll get onto the live chat. We'll have a little look at what everybody's talking about on there. Right, Mark Noble, Noble Pen 1.
You fucking useless put these on.
There you go. Thank you very, very much to everybody for sending those in. They're absolute gold dust. If I had a whole season of that, then I could do a flaming gold of the season video at the end. At the end of the season, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? But I've not been running for quite long enough to have all the footage. But it's nice. It's nice to have those goals there. It's nice. I find out. I was looking through the other day. I found I had Payet's twisty turny one. Where he beat everyone against Middlesbrough the other day. Anyway, that's that. Where are we? Right, live chat. You're all still there, I can see. Hello, DJ Gonzo. Hello there, Ray. Hello, Stephen. That's Stephen Spraggs. That's Cockney Hammer from Bowling Badges. Graham Perspective. He says Lanzini's a top 4 player for us, a regular. Aladdin Sane, he's talking about... Aladdin? Is that Aladdin Sane Eyes? Is that what that says? He's got a David Bowie icon. Andy C. Steve Tilley. Hello, mate. I saw you on the comments on one of the other videos. I asked you about Devon. Steve's a regular watcher of the channel. We like to go to Devon on holiday. It was me, Steve. I was just Just saying hello to you, mate. I've not seen you around in a little while. I noticed you on the comments. As I always read the comments. Noticed you on there. Was just saying hello, mate. Flight Time says, Gonzo, has your opinion of Ogbonna changed? I would have moved him on. Well, yes. He can't see Reed staying now. I mean, he has to change. And your opinion should change. If people do better, then you've got to be big enough to say, hold on, I was wrong about that. He looks really good. Balbuena's going to find it hard to get in, mate. So we got Tom Harms. Hello there, mate. What a penalty from Noble, says Aladdin. Flower Man says Lanzini looks every bit as good, if not better, than Anderson. It's like having a new £45 million sign. It certainly is. And £45 million wouldn't get him as long as he proves that his knee's okay. Then yeah, I mean. But let's just talk about that for a second. We have a lot of players now. Our team, the value of our team must be huge. I mean, Diop, his value's gone up. You wouldn't get him for cheap. That's for bloody sure. I'll tell you that much. Anderson's value's gone up. Lanzini's value is high. We've got some really good, and you know, there's plenty of other ones in there as well. Make no mistake about it. There was a time at the start of the season people were talking about Crystal Palace getting Antonio at 15 million. Oh no, you don't. Certainly not. He's worth a lot more than that. Palace are playing well, fun enough, aren't they? Gary Smithhurst, hello Gary, says impressed with how Pellegrini has dealt with the Arnautovic situation. Yeah, mate, showed himself to be the boss, a good boss. Not every boss is a ranter and a raver. Quiet authority is what I would say about Pellegrini. Steve's going down to Devon in the summer. You have a lovely time, mate. I do love it down in Devon, Cornwall, Dorset. Love everywhere. We're going to Wales soon, actually, as well, down to Snowdonia. I tell you what, the UK is a nice place to go and have holidays. Some beautiful places in the UK. Flight Time, what was your view of Almiron? I think he's an excellent player, mate. I'm not going to judge Almiron or Longstaff or Lascelles or anybody else on yesterday. We were better than them. Almiron's a really good player, and Pellegrini was interested in him. I know that for a fact. Would I swap him for Lanzini? No, but he's a good player, and I hate being like that, where it's sort of West Ham players or nobody. You know, he's gonna be a good player. It's just not as good as Lanzini. That's fine. You know, there's lots of players that aren't good as Lanzini. So Terence says, Chris spoke to you on Twitter last night. Hello there, Terence. So there you go. There, Steve's back in there. Almiron, we should have got, says Growing Perspective, who's always comments on all our videos. Yeah, maybe we should. But and I tell you what, 21 million. We talk about players' value going up. I think they got him for 21 million. Newcastle. He's worth more than that already. Gary Page, hello Gary, sometimes posts a video on the channel himself. Gary says we will spend another 70 to 90 million including sales next season. Well, that's a really good thing, Gary, because the team looked so good. If we haven't got injuries, 70, 80 million makes a big difference, because I don't want to see that spent on 7 or 8 players. I would love to see that spent on 2 players, for instance, and then we keep using the youth academy. Well, that's a lot. I mean, their youth academy. That's another thing to talk about. There's so much. How nice is it to have a manager who has such faith in youth? It's fantastic. Hello there, Reese. Ben Davis says, who do you reckon The Last Stand will be named after? I don't think they should at the moment. I'd keep my powder dry. There's a big list on Claret and Hugh today, and some of it's joking. You know, it's quite funny actually. I think Sean's written it. He's put Karen Brady in the list. Here's the list: John Law, Mark Noble, Paolo Di Canio, Martin Peters, Jeff Hurst, Harry Redknapp, Ron Greenwood, Carlton Cole, Frank Lampard, senior, obviously, Alvin Martin, Karen Brady, someone else. Yeah, mate. You know. I don't know. I'd keep my powder dry. On that one. Stuart Holtz. Hello, Stuart. Says Frederick's getting better and better. Graham Perspective said there should be a Gonzo, Gio, and Mike stand. Yeah, can you imagine? Be a lot of drinking going on in that stand, I think. A lot of sarcasm as well. Gary, thank you very much. He agrees with that. I'm not going to the Isla match in May, I'm afraid, Steve. But, I mean, look, wow. You know, what great news that is. What great news. I'm a father of 4 myself, which is why I'm not going to that match, funny enough. My wife's a nurse as well, and she works shifts. And so we have to time our time very, very carefully. But as a father, I mean, I can only imagine what that family have gone through. being on the sick bed of your daughter for such a long time, and the relief that she is now cancer free. I mean, there's other times to talk about it, and now's not one of them. Wow, you know, I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled, and everybody that's helped out. You know, Baz and Snodgrass in particular recently, but so many people have raised money. And Baz suggests you need to keep raising money because I guess I don't know about this stuff, which is why I don't want to talk about it apart from the good news. I guess there's an immune therapy or something. I don't know. I sound like an idiot now. I'm fucking trying to talk. Excuse me, now I'm trying to talk about it. But I guess the drugs are going to be quite expensive as well, which is why we need to carry on fundraising for it. But it's great news. I mean, it's great news. The joy the parents must have, I mean, is unimaginable. Fantastic news. Stifler Russell, Gonzo, Pevensey Bay, never been, mate. Never been. Always interested for new places to go. Shizzo Baz says Masuaku was really good yesterday. I know he's not a defender, but he'd keep him. Yeah. Andy C says we're still waiting for the Mike Monera toilet to be officially opened. Absolutely. The Mike on Monday urinals, the Monera pissers, they're definitely yeah, absolutely. I mean, maybe we could auction different things off. Maybe we could, different people. You could have a soap dispenser named after you. Hand dryer would be nice. The Alex Ferguson hair dryer actually is anyway. Flight time. How confident are you for our next two games? Watford and Wolves have some tricky games. We could capitalise. I think I've seen you making that point somewhere else, maybe on the comments as well as from Flight Time. Got to be confident here. Got to be confident. We've got to win our next two games, which takes us on to that. I don't know what gets Europe, because I don't want to be in Europe. It's too early. I think it's Mickey Mouse, that competition. It's not Champions League. It's Mickey Mouse. I do not want to be away to AFC Spartak Rovers on a Thursday night. You know, I just don't. It's too early. We've got a real chance. We are not as high as we could be because of injuries and everything else. There's no doubt that being in Europe would impact our league position. I think if we keep everyone fit and we spend, as Gary suggested, 70 to 90 million, we've got a real good chance of pushing. And I don't mean just top 7 next season. That won't happen if we're in Europe. I don't want to be in it, but I still want to win our next two games, obviously. A bit of a contradiction, isn't it? Right, okay, how confident... yeah, sorry, I just read... That's what happened, excuse me. Right, what else we got here? Sorry, just scrolling down, chatting amongst yourselves. Very nice too. Ben says, lovely to hear Isla's getting better. It certainly is, my friend. Flight time. Was Andy Carroll injured? Don't know. Was he injured, tired or dropped? Don't know. Didn't even think about him. That's something, isn't it? Didn't think about it once yesterday. Which is nice, isn't it? I don't mean not thinking about him, but nice that you don't miss anyone that you have to think about him. Paul P. Hello, Paul. Says lots of young talent in Portugal at the moment. Wouldn't mind betting that we land a cheeky gem from there. Watch yourself. Anyway, I think the Balbuena signing, even though I know he's Peruvian, isn't he? And he came from the Brazilian league. I think they've shown that we can dig up a gem. And there are lots of cheeky gems all over the place. So I don't think we necessarily have to spend 45 million or whatever Anderson was. It's quite exciting, actually. And the fact that we were scouting, even though we didn't get Alma on, the fact that we were scouting him shows that Pellegrini's got a good eye for this sort of thing. I mean, it's really good. Flower Man says, with the Arnie saga, it's like he's not the same player. Well, I think this is the thing, and it goes back to, I can't remember who mentioned it earlier, about Pellegrini managing the situation. He's no longer the top dog. Maybe he wasn't the top dog anyway, but he certainly thought he was. So he's been taken down a peg or two. And listen, people might say, well, that's impacted his forms, that's not a great thing. Actually, it was the right thing to do. Because I think he thought, I've no doubt about this actually, he thought that he was bigger than the club. And, well, he's not. We all know he's not. You've only got to look at the lovely presentation for Bonzo, for Billy Bonds yesterday. That's how big the club is. But he certainly thought he was. And there's no doubt in my mind that he thought he was. And now he knows he's not. And that's quite important. Because it shows all the other players that actually Pellegrini might not rant and rave. Maybe he does in the dressing room. We don't know. As I say, it's a closed shop. We don't hear much out of it. But he doesn't need to. Because actually, if you muck around, you're out. And you might not get back in because we've got a good squad. So, good. I think you've got to stamp down. You've got to show his boss. You really have to. What else we got? What do you reckon we'll get for Arnie? 60 million? Aladdin, we won't get 60 million for Arnie, mate. We'd be lucky to get 30 million for him, mate. I mean, he's damaged goods, I'm afraid. He's a player with ability. But physically good in terms of his technical, physical ability. Mentally, there's a question mark there. You don't know what you're getting. You don't know what's going on up there, mate. And you don't pay 60 million for uncertainty. You pay 60 million for damn near guaranteed. It's not going to happen. No one's going to. The clubs that can afford 60 million are the big clubs. They're not the big clubs aren't going to buy him. So it's something like China, and China ain't paying 60 million for him. They wouldn't even pay 40 million for him. So that's that. David G says, what about Oxford's? He's out on loan, mate. He won't be coming back. Something's happened. Pellegrini doesn't like him. Pellegrini played him against Wickham. I was there in the pre-season friendly. There was an opportunity for Oxford to be involved. Something's happened. Pellegrini doesn't like him. Some attitude, I don't know. Which surprised me. I met Reece Oxford before we left Upton Park. Bumped into him in a corridor inside Upton Park. Had a chat with him. It was a nice, grounded lad. So I don't know. Pellegrini said he wants top 6 next season. Well, that's the thing. You've got to aim high. And that Europe thing will kill us. I'm telling you now. It will absolutely kill us. It's horrible. And I'll tell you what else it kills. Saturday games. You barely play on Saturday. I like going to games on Saturday. Saturday, like yesterday. Do you know what? If we'd have played today, I wouldn't be doing this video, funny enough, either. I mean, just there's no time to be working on Monday. Do you know what I mean? Saturday gives you a chance to get your game in on Saturday and react to it and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I do not like Sunday games. Anyway, what we got? Steve says Carroll has to go. Not good enough anymore. John Longstaff sounds right. Yeah. One of the few on the list I'd go with. Thank you. Shizzo Best says Arnie wants a chinky gem. Obviously, he caught my Freudian slip there earlier. Johnny Lyle's Claret and Blue stand. Yeah, I mean, that seems to be very popular. Why wouldn't you? I mean, the thing is, I think the club will go with whatever the popular opinion is. Which I'm not talking about the stand here. The club have done so much bad PR that they almost do anything now to try and claw it back by doing popular things. Anyway, it's just, sometimes it's just better to do the right thing from the start rather than trying to mend everything with PR and spin. So many people are mindful of what they say and try and say the right things these days, and so little of it is genuine. But that's a different debate, and that's about today, just generally. Our goals aren't coming from our strikers, Gary. No, they're not, mate. But I think, well, let's be fair, none of those strikers could be here next season, so that might be sorted out. Do you think there'll be changes for Cardiff? Nasri, give Lanzini a rest. Don't look like Lanzini wants a rest. Doesn't look like Pellegrini wants to rest Lanzini. That's Gary Smithhurst there. Shizobaz says, am I saying that right? Shizobaz. Shizobaz, I think. Regarding Arnie, we have to build a squad that follows Pellers and not disrupts teammates. They're absolutely right. You've got to have a good attitude in your squad. Flowerman will take 30 million for Arnie and move on. Ben Davis says, I wonder if the Claret Blue turf around for the track will be in place this season. Have I heard anything? Yeah, they've got the contractor in place. The price has been agreed. Having said that, bearing in mind we once sent off, well, even things like this that I've had designed, things like this take 3 weeks to come through, and it's that big. So how long it would take them to build something like that, I don't know. But it's under construction. I think there's the I think the agreement's there. I think it's ready. It's not ready to go. I'm not sure it's fully stitched, but I think it's close. I think it's here coming this season. What else have we got? Ray says, but with Europe, we would get better players in the summer. Maybe we would, but I think we've got pretty good players. I think it hurts more than it benefits, Ray. I really do. Paul says, anyone going to be going to Shanghai for pre-season tournament? I hope we keep it more or less here again. I think, well, we started the season well, didn't we? So it obviously worked. Do you think we have had more games change this season? It feels like it, Gary, as you say. agree about Europe. Shizabasi thinks this time around. But yeah, next season. Well, one more season to consolidate, I think. Flight time was surprised Lanzini lasted 90 minutes. I think we all were. Shows a good core level of fitness there. Steve says maybe the only change for Cardiff, Antonio for Snodgrass. I think that would be controversial. Snodgrass has done nothing to warrant being dropped. Having said that, Antonio has done nothing to warrant not being in the team. They're two players that you'd suggest are in form. But that is what happens. That's what happens. I mean, this might happen at big clubs all the time. Whatever, you know. Look at Man United. I don't know. Martial plays well, and Sanchez can't get in the team, and so on and so forth. So, good. Oh, okay. He's pronounced it now. Schizo base. What is that? Well, is that something I don't know about? Anyway, Will should be sold. Well, who's going to buy him? No one's going to buy him. Greetings from USA, says Rob. Greetings, Rob. Greetings from the UK. Greetings from a cupboard in the UK. With Ogbonna showing much better yesterday, do you think Balbuena steps back into... I don't think it comes straight back. I think it sends the wrong message to the squad, I think, if that happens. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right. Ben Davies said we get knocked out by Astragugu anyway, Ben. Yeah, we would. And we played Domzale 2 years in a row. I mean, this is not the glamour of Europe, is it? Astragugu, FC Domzale. But with Europe, we would play teams like FC Gonzo. That sounds like a good team. I was going to go and play. Me and my boy were going to go and practice volleys today down the park. But it's very windy and very wet. So we're going out for a roast instead. Victor Fenn. Hello, Victor. He says Arnie will go for about 25 million. And Miguel Angel says greetings from California. Greetings, Miguel. And Steve Tilley says so many contenders for Hammer of the Year. There certainly are. And on that note, folks, I'm going to leave you. Because I need to go and I can't go over a meal in this top, can I? Let's be perfectly honest with you. Got to get me shirt on or something. Do you know what I mean? Nice tie. Something like that. West Ham tie. Put a pin badge. There you go. One of Bowling Badge's pin badge. Where is it? It's in the other room, actually. You don't want to see behind this camera. There's a lot of junk there. There's a lot of junk behind there. A lot of cables, cameras, microphones. And a dryer. A washer dryer. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been a long time since I've done one of these. Oh, there you go. I've been a bass playing maniacs rule. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, everybody. Adios says just thanks for joining. I do love doing these, and I do like interacting with you, and I really do appreciate. I've been meaning to say this for a little while actually, but we normally rush through the videos so quickly. I do so much appreciate everybody tuning in and everybody watching our stuff. It's amazing actually to think that how it happened and how quickly it's come along, and it's just nice. It's nice. You're a really lovely bunch of people. We get listen, the odd troll. Oh, sorry, Moby Dick. He says, "Oh, bug, I missed it again, mate." By the time I've pressed stop on this, it'll sort of YouTube does its thing and calculates it, and then it'll be back, and you can watch it from the start, mate. Bit dragged on a bit, that, to be fair. I don't know how long we've been going. How long have we been? 49 minutes. There we go. But yeah, I was just saying, it's just been really nice. It's a really nice thing to do. It's lovely everyone watches. You know, I mean, 99.9% of people are just absolutely lovely and really nice and want to interact. And we don't mind if you disagree. I mean, you know, disagree with whatever we say, that's fine. Some people come on and they're nasty. You're this, that, and the other. I'm sort of name calling and all the rest of it. But in you know, just so many of you so nice. It's a real pleasure to do. We absolutely recognise who the regulars are. We read all the comments. Can't always respond to all of them because it's quite time consuming, the whole Hammers Chat thing. But we read them all. We try and do things like this so you can interact with us. We don't just say social media and read the comments and not take an interest in what you're doing and what you think, where you're from, what your hobbies are, what you think about West Ham. We are very, very interested. We're very appreciative of you all. Thanks for sticking with us. Sound like Gwyneth Paltrow, don't I? I haven't won anything yet. Thanks, Terence. I will certainly enjoy my roast. They call it a try roast. So I hope, I'm thinking I'm thinking there's a bit of beef, a bit of turkey, and a bit of lamb. Hopefully. Yorkshire puds. Pigs in blankets. Lovely. Anyway. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop streaming now. So, streaming. Anyway, don't worry about it. I'll see you soon. Cup of tea this week. Mike on Monday tomorrow on this channel. This is the forum channel. There's no point asking you to subscribe. If you're watching it, you probably already are. Just click the bell. After when it says subscribe, click the bell, and then you know when we're going live. And then people like Moby don't miss it. I gave an announcement, a notification 15 minutes before I started, just to let you know. Right, that's it. Enjoy what's left of your weekend. I think there's some football on. You're probably missing it now. What are you watching me for? Go and watch your football. I'll see you later.